Well, hello, good morning, whatever time of day it is for you guys. We are back. If you missed yesterday's Vlogmas episode, it was our Costco vlog, our Shop With Me haul. But I'm trying to think through what projects I can get done today, kind of here or there. I'm going to be filming tomorrow. I need to do some planning for it, but I'm not going to have the ability to film today. So knowing that, I'm like, okay, well, what projects around the house can I get done while I've got the girls kind of in between? So I think I might try to, our bathroom closet that has like our towels, like our beach towels, things like that. I've organized it before, like maybe a year or two ago on camera. And so I've got like, cute bins in there and stuff, but a lot of things that are in there take up a lot of space and they don't need to be in this closet. For example, beach towels, we don't use often. And really the main time we use them is for like our hot tub, which is downstairs. So it kind of makes more sense to have those either in the garage or in a closet downstairs closer to where we would actually use it. That would free up almost an entire shelf. We have a weird amount of beach towels. So I want to at least get those downstairs and put into a closet and then kind of see what room we're working with. We keep our travel stuff. If you saw my travel like pack with me video a month or so ago, I showed the closet and it's messy. And our travel stuff is kind of overflowing and I declutter my stuff, but we have like Disney specific things. We have just regular travel and it continues to grow because this is something we're interested in. But that also means we need to really think about what our storage situation is. And right now, clearly our storage situation is not working. So I got to figure that out. Also, I always giggle when you can see that ship there in the background, Tyler's prized possession. Also, I read an article today. I skimmed an article and it said that the younger generation says the front tuck is out. And I said, you can pry the front tuck out of my cold dead hands.
Well. And my Costco vest. These are the pants. I already absolutely love them. They're so stretchy. I can kick.
Yeah, you can.
Who's that old Molly Shannon character?
Yeah.
But they're like stretchy and comfy and all that. I'm so glad I got 3 pairs of them. And then I got my new thing here. So warm and cozy.
It is, and it's way softer than that other one.
Yeah.
Also, incredible. Just incredible hat.
But yeah, I am so glad I got 3 pairs of these. These are going to be... I was looking at some other options online. Like, I know, like, bird dogs are...
Yeah, they're, like, stretchy.
Yeah.
They're so cool.
Bird dogs are, like, a popular... I was just telling Jess the other day, I'm like, I need some more pants. And I was, like, looking at all these different ones. And they're, like, $100 for each pair. These were $14.99. So I got 3 pair for less than half the price of one pair of pants.
Yeah, no, that is an incredible
They're, like,
win.
the same kind of thing. I feel like they fit well. They're, like...
Yeah, let's see. Turn around.
Oh, yeah.
Can you do a full squat?
Oh, I can squat for days. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Do my trunk rotations. Okie dokie. So Jessica got her new thing that's going to go behind her videos, and I got a new desk, or I guess an additional desk for my office. I'll show you that eventually when I get it all set up. But we had both of them delivered to our house, which seemed like a good idea at the time, just because of the delivery days and all that kind of stuff. It just made a little bit more sense. But now I had to load them up at home, and I'm bringing them here, and now I got to take them up 2 full flights all the way to the top floor, and they're both really heavy. So wish me luck. This has been some kind of crazy topsy-turvy day, but we're working our way through, moving right along. I got the desk and the sideboard, I don't even know what you would call it, for Jessica's office, all at the workspace, so that's great. I will try and get those built maybe Thursday, Friday, maybe even this weekend. I don't know, we'll see. It probably will end up getting pushed back, but I'll get those built at some point. If I do it during Vlogmas, I will certainly film it. And then just got home, having some lunch, and then I'm actually going to go back to work for a couple hours, and then I'm coming back home. So it's been a crazy day. Anyway, long story, but I'm excited to eat some lunch because all I've really had today, it's already 2, and all I've had today, I think I had like one of those protein shakes, and then I had a Perfect Bar, which, by the way, okay, I don't know if you guys know what Perfect Bars are. They're like the refrigerated protein bars. They sell them at Starbucks now. They're all over the place. They had all these different flavors. I loved them. They were so good, and I would eat one every 2 days. It was like a perfect snack. Loved them. I used to buy them like in a big pack. in the last like month or two, I don't know why, but every single one that I open is like super dry, tastes like dog breath, like just like there's something wrong with them. And I'm like, I don't know if they have like a new manufacturer, maybe they're like a victim of their own success or something like that. But then every once in a while, like the one I had today was perfect. Perfect bar. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on. If you guys like perfect bars, am I crazy? Is this like, am I just like happen to pick some weird random ones? Because I love them. They're so good. But I feel like recently I keep getting weird ones. So am I alone in this? Does anybody have any clue what I'm talking about? Let me know.
Hair is in a weird high bun. That can only mean one thing: cookie time. So I'm going to make the last like holiday cookies we had planned to make. We really were kind of done. I don't know. We've already gotten so many cookies from other people. I know we already talked about that. So we were like, do we want to make any more? But we do, because we want to give some of our cookies to some friends and neighbors. And with the 2 cookies, we were like, we just need like one more to just really round it out. And one of our faves is this sugar cookie and icing recipe, which I know sounds boring, except for this is the greatest sugar cookie and icing recipe we have ever tried. I've never gotten so many like texts like, hey, what is this recipe, like once they've had them, which is exactly how we discovered it. A friend of ours had made them and brought them to our holiday party like 4 or 5 years ago. And we were like, what is this recipe? Like, they're unreal. My mouth is watering just talking about it. That's what we're going to make. And they're, I would say, pretty easy. Not a lot of ingredients either. So I'll link both the sugar cookie recipe and the icing recipe we use. They're both from Preppy Kitchen. And his recipes all generally seem to be pretty good, but this one is incredible. So I do want to show one thing that we do differently on one of the recipes. All right, so we've got the sugar cookie recipe, pretty simple: flour, cornstarch, salt, butter, sugar, eggs, and vanilla. And then we do need to chill this a little bit since we're gonna cut it out. And then the buttercream frosting, the one thing, and I think this is what our friend had told us to do, is to do half a cup of butter and half a cup of cream cheese, because that helps cut the sweetness. And this is what we did last time, and it was absolutely incredible. It was perfect. So just wanted to mention that. So if you do print these recipes, you might add that note, give it a try, but I definitely recommend doing that. So the other day when I was making, what other cookies? Oh, the spritz cookies, which I just ate one of. I was trying to soften the butter in the microwave, and there's like a setting for that. But instead of soften, I put melt. Just wasn't thinking. Melted the butter. It was 2 full sticks of unsalted butter. And I'm like, I am not wasting this. So we let it harden and put it back in the fridge. That is this. And we need a cup of unsalted butter, and we have no other unsalted butter. So we're going to use this. Hopefully it's not too terribly weird, considering it was melted, then rehardened. We're just going to see. But I still, for the icing, need another cup of unsalted butter. And I also realized I don't have cream cheese. So I'm going to have to pop to the store to get that here in a little bit. Really on borrowed time, because Felicity is napping. And she's content, but anyway. So we'll see what I actually get done. I figure I can go ahead. I have what I need. Go ahead and make the cookies. That needs to chill anyway. And then maybe later I can pop to the store to get the stuff for the icing and maybe finish them when the girls are asleep or something. We will see. But yeah, so let's make the cookies at least. It's so funny. I'm creaming the butter and sugar together right now. By the way, I did soften the butter in that glass container. Works perfectly. So it actually doesn't say whether the butter should be softened or not, but I just softened it a little bit, even just to help me get it out of there, and it seems to be doing just fine. But I always feel like cookies like this are so much work in my head, and they are more work because you're gonna roll it out and like cut some things. But every time I make them, I'm reminded that they're really not as hard as I make them out to be in my head. You know what I mean? They're definitely a little more time, but the payoff, totally worth it. I've also realized about myself that if I put the ingredients away as I am cooking, I feel like it makes my life easier shortly after they're all in the oven, and I'm like, oh man, I've got all this to clean up. And I'm like rinsing some like measuring cups as I go, so they're like drying if I need them again. Those kinds of little tiny details I think make baking a little more pleasurable, a little bit easier. Only a few casualties. We've got a little bit of flour that missed the bowl, and a little bit of dough on the floor. But this is kind of what I remember from last year, where it really looks dry and crumbly, and at first I'm like, oh no. But you press it all together, you stick it in the fridge for a while to chill, and it should be perfect for rolling out and cutting cookies. He did have a note in there that like if you add more cornstarch, it'll make it even more like laser sharp edges when you're cutting the cookies out. Less cornstarch makes for a softer cookie. So this is kind of somewhere in the middle, which is where he landed on for his recipe. So just something cool to know. I'm sure all the bakers out there might know that, but I am not like a, baker beyond this kind of thing. And I thought that was kind of interesting. Okay, so it said to put it in a plastic bag, kind of flatten it together, and then let it chill. So that way it'll stick together better and that it should cut easier when you are rolling it out. Another thing, it says a pound of confectioner's sugar. I'm like, okay. So I get the powdered sugar out. I'm like, okay, a pound. I'm like, wait, we put it in one of the OXO, like one of these containers. So I'm like, I would bet that's around a pound. I'm like, I don't know. So it says 454 grams. So I'm like, now I've got to pull out my little scale. Yet again, another thing that I'm like, oh, this is going to take forever. And it takes me all of 30 seconds. So this is the OXO food scale. It said 454 grams. I'm going to call 456 pretty darn close. We had just enough, but I still need to go to the store for the butter and cream cheese. These are the vibes today. I just procured the goods and then had this fear that I forgot the things I actually came for. The butter and the cream cheese. I got those. But I also got like Ritz crackers we were out of, since obviously I used them all for our Thin Mints. And then random other things like powdered sugar we had enough of, but like just barely. So I went ahead and got another of those. Some snacks for the girls / myself. And yeah, as usual, go in for 2 things, leave with like 10. Also, we were at the store every other day. Yes. If you were wondering, yes. 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 Oh. Okay, many hours later, we have the dough chilled. It ended up still being crumbly. I think it was the butter. So Tyler was telling me you could do like ice cold water, like literally water with ice in your fingers and just kind of work it into the dough to kind of get it less crumbly. He does that with pie crust and it works. It totally worked. So that is exciting. I've got these bad boys about to go in, but I'm going to roll out some more. I love these big ones. But I really am enjoying having the smaller cookie cutters that Benita gave us because you can make so many more, and especially for like kids and giving to neighbors and stuff. These giant ones they really are huge. Like they're almost the size of my hand. Well, anyway, but they're really, really pretty too. So we'll see what I end up doing with them decorating wise, but we're getting there. All right, icing is nearly done there. It's looking really good. You can add more cream to kind of get it to the consistency you want. And then first batch is done. The other ones are nearly done. And then once they cool, we will frost them. So one thing I've done, Tyler, for this year plan, one thing I've done in the past is use some of it white and then do some of it red or green. You could do blue. I think last year I did blue and white and it was really pretty because we did those snowflakes. So I just did like blue lines on it. And then we had like some white sprinkly sugar bits, whatever. I mean, I guess that's what a sprinkle is, a sugar bit. Anyway, and they looked really good. So, and I'm not good at that kind of thing. So I don't know what I want to do this time because the shapes I did were like an ornament, a star. The big snowflakes, I did like small snowflakes, but they kind of look like stars too. And Christmas trees. So I'm like, I mean, I feel like I should do green. But we could also keep it classy with white, and make our lives easier. I don't know. We'll see. Because I could always use sprinkles, like do white. Maybe that's what I'll do. Like do white on the little Christmas trees, but then use some green sprinkles on top. Give the vibes of, or it's like our Christmas tree, which is like nearly white. Anyway, y'all, it's been a day. Like the way I look is exactly how I feel. I just realized I ended up doing the full amount of butter and not the cream cheese. And I went on and on. But it's interesting because I did taste it and I was like, it tastes sweeter than I remember. That would be why. So Tyler thinks I should just add the cream or some of the cream cheese. Because if the consistency gets too thick, I can always just add more heavy cream. And so we're just going to try it. Boy, what a day. What a day. Oh, baby, look at that. Yeah, adding the cream cheese, perfect. Absolutely perfect. I ended up adding the whole amount that it called for in what we wrote in. So really what that means is it's too much butter, but the consistency is right. So I'm okay with that. And it tastes really good. Too much butter. All right. Tyler and the girls are dancing to Bluey right now. Okay. I'm laughing because every year I can't remember how I do it because I told you I'm not good at this one looks like it's got legs. So this is my first one. I'm like, no, not quite. I'm like, ooh, that's closer. But then I went too high in the middle. That one, I don't even know what happened. This one was better. This is where I land right here. because then I can put like a sprinkle or like something cute in the middle. We'll see. I got to look at what I have. Then I went through the same thing with the trees. First one, second one, third. I don't know what order, but this is the one I think is the cutest. For the other trees, I kind of just went like that. I'm like, that looks closest. The green didn't turn out the way I want, but I still think they're cute. They're definitely going to be delicious. But I think that looks the most like a tree, you know? Okay. Wow. Last two I nailed. I'm shouting. I am very proud of those last two trees. Too bad I didn't make any more trees. Darn it. Okay, I have to say, once you add sprinkles to them, they look a lot cuter. The trees came out really cute with the white sprinkles. So next year I want to remember to do that again and do more of the little trees. Always love the snowflakes. We have these little pearl ones that make it extra cute. And then these poor little stars and snowflakes, I think we can just skip next year because it was really hard to do the icing on that. Like, I just don't feel like it. They're fine. We had way too much green. I think next year we'll do some green for the trees, do snowflakes, and just call it. Because even the ornaments, I'm like, if I had done like red, I could have done like red and green stripes or something cuter. Anyway, but they're fine. They taste absolutely delicious. Definitely the back row is my favorite little area. But we've got these to eat now.
Has it been a day? Mm-hmm. This day.
I know.
It is, yeah, suffice it to say that it's just been one of those days.
Yeah, it really has. It was like one thing after another with the kids and just different stuff. And so it's one of those nights that by the end of it, we're like, so.
Yeah. I do have a couple things to talk about.
I'll start with the one.
Okay.
If you're cool with it. A lot of people asking about our basement couch, if we think it's worth it, what brand is it, etc.
Yeah.
So if you followed along last year, it is the very expensive brand Lovesac. Lovesac, babe. So
the amount of comments last year when we sang Lovesac, so many people were like, "Guys, it's Love Shack."
We're like, "No,
like, we know it's a just."
We know. Thank you.
We know.
I would say it's not worth it if you're not going to use it in the way where like you can change the layout, you can buy extra pieces to make it like one big giant, almost bed couch thing.
Yeah.
So for us, it's a well-made couch. Like you take the covers off to wash them, and it feels a lot nicer than this. Which this was also like not a cheap couch. I don't know what brand it was. We bought it at some random
like local furniture store.
Yeah. So what Yeah. Anyway, so one thing we've been talking about is like, well, maybe we should get like the extra pieces for the middle, so then it could be like one giant thing. Yeah. Like I feel like the girls would love that.
But we only have so much room where we have it. If you had a giant family room and you had a ton of pieces, which would be super expensive.
Yeah.
Then you could potentially move it around, but I just don't. I don't know
how often. Because you can take off the piece and like make it a separate seat.
Right. You can do that. But we
don't really. I mean, we could have the space for it, but not comfortably.
But we'd have to buy two other ones, like if we wanted to do like it all together. So it's a cool idea, and if you're going to use it that way, then it's totally worth it because it's easy to move things around. But we just don't really have any need to move things around. I know. So
I kind of regret. I mean, no turning back now.
I think if we were to do it again, we would just buy a standard sectional with
because that is in the end how we're using it, I guess. Yeah. So perhaps maybe we'll buy the extra pieces just to be able to do it. I'm like, well, we're this far in. Not right now.
Because then I think it would be like two double beds next to each other, like with the way we have it set up. So it'd be a huge amount of couch, and that could be fun for like slumber parties and stuff like that. But as the way we're using it right now is just that. But again, if we were to do the built-in sound, like that's cool and stuff like that. But again, it was a very expensive couch. And I like it, but I think you could get, if you're just going to use it as a couch, you can find a lot less expensive.
Yeah,
just
I guess that's my point. I do like it, though. I want to be clear. I really, like, when we sit down, I'm like, oh, yeah. Like, it's nice. A good couch, but I just don't know that it's worth the price if you're not going to use it that way.
Yeah.
What else?
Okay, so, several people, let me look at my notes here. Two other things. I talked about how our basement stuff was leaking. So they came out. We have, like I said, a whole house humidifier. It was leaking. What a lot of people said was exactly what my first thought was. The actual filter itself needs to be changed. And we just had someone come out like less than a month ago and do, because we have like a service plan, and that's something else. That's a different story for a different day. But the service plan, they're supposed to change out that filter. So I'm like, they were just here. I was like, I bet they didn't change out that filter when they were here, and that's what's causing the leak, because this happened last year. Somebody came out, didn't actually change out the filter, and then it started to leak. So
because they're really here for like the HVAC. The humidifier is like an additional thing that most people don't have. The house just had it when we moved in.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they don't think to check for it. Or,
well, I don't know about
they're
that.
down there. Like, how would they miss it?
Well, my
anyway?
point is that's not what this was this time. This time there was like this like screw cap that goes on the bottom, and the guy said he's like it was probably slightly cracked, and then the last time they like put it back on or put the cover back on, it probably broke the rest of the way, and that's what was causing the leaking. So there was just this little plastic part that went around the bottom, and that's what actually broke this time. So he actually did change the filter though this time, so that was good. Yep. But that a lot of people were like, that is exactly what happened to them. That's what happened to us last year, but that's not what it was this time. It was something else broke.
Something else entirely.
The other thing that a lot of people have commented on is how I make pasta. So, when I did, this was 2 nights ago.
Oh, you showed it. I'm like, when would you, you showed it. When
we did spaghetti and meatballs. Mm-hmm. So I do what's called the cold water pasta method. And a lot of people are like, whoa, what are you doing here? And so I'm going to show you here. This is an Alton Brown cookbook. This is the only Alton Brown one we have, actually. But it's Everyday Cook, one of my favorites. Tons of good recipes in here. The chicken piccata.
Is the harissa eggs? Are the harissa eggs in here?
The mug cake. There's so much good stuff in here. So this is definitely one I recommend. But at the beginning, he's got all these different methods on how to cook things. He's got like the staples you should have in your pantry. He's got like all kinds of stuff. It's a great, great cookbook. Everything I've ever made from it is so good.
Yeah.
But Alton Brown, this is something that Jason and I have talked about. That Alton Brown is one of those people because you just trust him so much that whatever he says to do, if it's a specific method, you feel like he's probably tested 1,000 methods, or him and his team have tested 1,000 methods, so you trust what he says. Because Jason has been like, you read other recipes, it's like, well, why would I do that? It seems like it's an extra step I don't have to do, and he'll just skip it. He's like, but if Alton Brown says it, I do it.
Like, okay.
Because Alton Brown...
Well, he's very sciencey and nerdy in the
exactly
best way.
He's Bill
in
Nye.
a very lovable way.
He's Bill Nye for...
Bill Nye in the kitchen,
adults,
baby.
Food people.
Bill Nye in the kitchen, Alton... Never mind.
I know where you're going with that. But in the beginning of this, under methods, he has the cold water pasta method, and this is what I do. So, his cold water pasta method, he says, so it turns out that despite what TV chefs have said in the past, including me, dry pasta doesn't actually need a lot of water to cook, and the water doesn't have to be boiling when the pasta goes in. In fact, all you have to do is cover the noodles with cold water by, say, an inch. Long strands will require a wide, shallow pot, which is why I used our 12-inch cast iron, which the cast iron... Ours is so well seasoned, it's fine. I don't know that I would necessarily recommend using that, but a big, wide, shallow pan.
Yeah.
For us, it works with the cast iron, but he says, with the pasta in, bring the water to a boil, stirring often, then drop the heat and simmer for about 2 minutes. Not only is this faster, it wastes a lot less energy and water, and I'm not sure the quality of the pasta isn't actually better. So that's why I do it that way.
I honestly never knew why you did it. I knew it was an Alton Brown thing, so I was like, all right, but I just do it then.
And so instead of getting, because you read the side of a pasta box and it's like, bring 10 gallons of water to a rolling boil. Anyway, you don't have to do that.
My thing is, though, okay, this is actually an interesting topic. Are you the type of person, well, I know the answer for you. I'm the type of person that if it's not something I'm very specifically baking, like cookies that are very particular, whatever, but if I'm like throwing in a frozen pizza or something like that, I turn the oven on, but if I'm ready to put that pizza in, I go ahead and put it in.
Yeah.
And then I'll do the timer, check it, and it always needs a few more minutes, but I'm like, well, I might as well get it started cooking, even though, because I don't want to wait 6 minutes when it could have been 3 minutes ahead of, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Same with pasta, though. My point is, like with pasta, I do bring probably, I guess, more water than I need to onto the stove. But I go ahead and put the pasta in, and then I turn the water on. You don't wait for it to get to... Because I figure it starts to soften in the water, and again, it just cooks. Even if it's just a few minutes you shave off, I'm like...
The one that always does it for me is when it comes to, like, sourdough bread. A lot of times you'll see... They'll say an hour before you start baking, get your oven to 500 degrees and let it sit there for, like, 45 minutes before you actually put anything in. That's... It can only get to 500 degrees. It doesn't get to be more 500 degrees. So if your oven is 500 degrees, it's 500 degrees. So letting it sit there for another 40 minutes before you actually put your sourdough in makes absolutely no difference. And if you put your like cast iron cooker in there, when it's starting to heat up, you can actually point a laser heat thing at it and it will already be at 500 degrees. So it's not going to get more 500 degrees. It's just 500 degrees.
Which is heavier, a pound of feathers or a pound of metal?
Exactly. So I'm like, as long as you can, and you can look at it, you can point at it, and it should be right at around 500 degrees.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I'm like, you don't have to let it continue to get at temperature.
I'd be curious your guys' thoughts. There's got to be a reason people say that, but I wonder.
Yeah. Anyway, so these are interesting fun facts.
Yep. Wow.
So I know in the past we've had some comments from people that are like, I'm actually a professional baker, and they'll prove me wrong.
So yeah, prove us wrong if we're wrong.
Or if you're just
or you're wrong, because I have no theories.
If you're a super avid baker or something. But anyway, that's just that's the cold water pasta method. I was amazed at how many comments were like, oh, whoa. What are you doing there, Tai?
Well, because it is crazy looking. Like, everyone, collectively, we all cook it the same way. So it is like, what am I looking at here?
Yeah, you need a hot tub's worth of boiling water.
I remember. So, a roommate of mine back in college, her boyfriend at the time was training to be a chef or was a chef. And I remember watching him make eggs, and he would scramble them, but he would, instead of like a frying pan, you know what I mean, he would use like a sauce pot.
That's the Gordon Ramsay method. I don't know if he invented it, but...
Well, but like that was the vibe. And I remember when you did that
I used to only make them that way.
I know. Well, they're really good that way too, but you have never made a bad egg, I will say.
I am a bad egg. No, I have like 3 or 4 different methods, and they're all so good, but they're all so different. And I always struggle. I'm like, okay, what do I want to do? Do I want to do the Gordon Ramsay eggs? Do I want to do the spicy eggs? Do I want to do... I also have this method. It's like a... like with olive oil, and like you just throw eggs in, and like...
you haven't made that. That was...
They basically fry in olive oil. They're so good, but you use so much olive oil, and they're very specific. So it's
like a big commitment to make those eggs,
but that's always the problem. I'm like, I don't know. I have too many good eggs.
Jeez. Yeah. Good eggs. I know. I just love eggs so much.
Do a video on eggs 15 ways.
I'm sure that exists.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. Well, we're so tired.
Surprise.
Also, we only have a few more days of Vlogmas left.
I know.
Some years go to day 31. Some years we don't.
Yeah.
So we have a few more days of vlogs to go through Christmas.
Yep.
And then we will definitely we've gotten some questions asking. We are going to do what we've read this year, like book review, books we recommend.
Yeah.
Video.
So the 23rd will be the last vlog. So the 24th and 25th we're taking off. But then on the 26th, we'll have the video go up of the 24th and 25th.
I see.
And then
so we're still filming on Christmas Eve and Christmas.
A little bit, and then we'll kind of
we usually,
That'll be it'll be. I mean, it won't be like a big thing, but just little bits here and there, and then we'll have that go on the 26th. We'll do our yearly book review, and then
sometime after that.
And part of the reason why we're not going all the way through the 31st this year is because we were vlogging a week before Vlogmas started for Disney, because those are going to go live. Then we have another trip coming up. Those will go up. We'll have the Europe videos. Those are going to go up. So
we're also traveling in January. We just got a lot. We need some time. I know you guys you understand.
Yeah.
This has been so much fun, but it's a lot of work. So
we're taking that week.
Having a little bit of time off would be nice.
Yeah. But there's still tons of videos coming.
Yeah.
So, all right. We will see you guys tomorrow.
Love you.
Bye.